Perfect. All right, good evening. I am going to call this board meeting to order. I don't see any public comment for closed session, so we will adjourn to closed session to return at 7 p.m. I know. Let me get situated here. Nice. All right, good evening. I am going to reconvene the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Escondido Union School District and Dr. Ibarra's last official school board meeting. Would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would be happy to. Happy. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very well done. Roll call. All members are present. Sorry. We're going to switch it up tonight. And we do have a report out of closed session.
In the matter of existing litigation, Special Education Settlement, OAH case number 2026-020751, the board voted to approve the Special Education Settlement Agreement by a vote of 5-0. In closed session, the board took action to approve the appointment of Ted Kirkbride to principal at Rock Springs Elementary School, effective July 1st, 2026, by a vote of 5-0.
Thank you. Just take a few seconds. Good evening, School Board President Harper, School Board members, Superintendent Ibarra, incoming Superintendent McGuire, and Cabinet. I am incredibly honored to accept the offer to be the new principal of Rock Springs Elementary School. For 58 years, Escondido has been my home community, and for 30 of those years, the Escondido Union School District has been my passion. I am ready to get amped for greatness about our future together and ensure that Roadrunners rocks, proving that Roadrunners of character truly do keep succeeding. Rock Springs is in year 3 of an exciting school redesign, and I'm eager to help sustain and elevate the incredible momentum of our staff at Rock Springs and that Elizabeth Ramirez has built. I cannot thank Elizabeth enough for the support she is already showing me as I work through our transition. Together, we will successfully execute our school redesign, implement the EUSD learning model, and ensure every Rock Spring Roadrunner thrives. Thank you very much, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Congratulations, Ted. We're so excited to have you back as principalship, and I know Rock Springs is very excited to have you.
And in closed session, the board took action to approve the appointment of Pablo Charin to principal at Central Elementary School, effective July 1st, 2026, by a vote of 5-0.
First and foremost, I'm a family man, so I wanted my family up here with me as I say some words. Good evening, President Harper, the board, cabinet, incoming Superintendent McGuire, and Superintendent Ibarra. I am honored and privileged to accept the principalship at Central Elementary School. My family and I are longtime Escondido residents, with my wife working in the district for over 20 years. I look forward to meeting students, staff, parents, and Central community soon. My vision is to foster an environment where every student feels valued, attains success, and is prepared for the future. I am eager to collaborate with all stakeholders to achieve those goals. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I'm excited to get started. And thank you especially for helping my grandfather's vision of myself continue.
Congratulations and also welcome, but we know you've already been here probably a lot and helping in the classroom. You probably had summer duty of moving and helping. So again, welcome. I am looking for a motion to approve the agenda for tonight. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Thank you, Doug.
Second.
Thank you, Joan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. On to, do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Superintendent Andrew McGuire as Secretary of the Board for the remainder of the 2026 calendar year, effective July 1st, 2026?
Move approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. All right, on to the festivities for this evening, recognizing our outgoing, where's the Kleenex box? Do we already have it? Our outgoing superintendent, Dr. Luis Ibarra. Turn it over to Mr. McGuire right now.
Should have unwrapped this earlier. Here's your link. You've got this wait for you, because I know you love candy. So here's a candy dish with a lid, so it helps you stay out of it. With your name, your career on there. So something for your counter. Thank you.
Excellent. We also have it.
They have other
We have a recognition from the County Board of Supervisors, a certificate of, thank you, commendation presented to Dr. Luis Rankins Ibarra, celebrating a legacy of educational leadership and service. It is an honor to recognize Dr. Luis Rankins Ibarra for more than 30 years of dedicated service to public education, including 12 years as superintendent of the Escondido Union School District. Your exceptional leadership expanded opportunities for students, strengthened schools, and enriched our community. On behalf of the North County San Diego, we extend our sincere gratitude and best wishes for a happy and well-deserved retirement. Congratulations on this exciting next chapter.
Thank you. Very official. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Oh, parents, yes, parents. Okay. How about the whole board come?
This is the way it works. It's empty. Come on down.
Yeah, hold on.
There, we want all of you. All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And I know each one of us wants to say a few words to you, so we'll start at the end with Doug.
So thinking about the importance of this district in my own life, in the life of my family and of my community, I think this is probably the most important agency within this community. The 10 years that I've been in this seat, I've got to say I have always just so appreciated your leadership for the entire community, and I just thank you for everything you've done here in Oceanside, in all of your positions. Thank you for a life well lived and communities very well served. Thank you.
What can I say? As the only person still here who actually got to hire you, Dr. Ibarra, I'm always so proud of that choice. And I will tell you, you were such a nice person when you interviewed. I just worried that you would not be strong enough to stand up to some of our problems. But it turns out that, I mean, you are a nice person, and you really like people, and you value them. And you've gathered a cabinet around you that you value and you give credit to. You've always protected your board. But when push comes to shove, if you have to, you can be very, very strong and just the right way, because you always want to do the right thing. And I appreciate that always. It's been a pleasure to have you as our superintendent these 12 years. And I will say, and I've told other people, you are, and I've experienced a number of other superintendents, but I've also met a number through CSBA and so forth. You are the best. Truly. So thank you, and I wish you the happiest of retirements.
Well, I can't really say that I have the amount of years that Joan has when it comes to working with superintendents, but the 6 years that I've been on this board have been at times very trying, and a lot of things have happened. And what has always impressed me is that you were not only were you the leader, but you made sure that the direction that this district was going in was the one that would be the most favorable for everyone. And I appreciated that. You were candid when you needed to be candid, and you were politically correct when you needed to be politically correct, which at times can be very challenging. But I really appreciated your leadership. And also the people that you brought in as your cabinet were always just unbelievable. And your ability to lead them and lead this district to where we're at today, I think, is amazing. And I want to thank you for that. And lastly, the one thing that I always tell people that are retiring, okay, don't get a job for at least 12 months. You're going to be asked to do all sorts of fun things, like get on this board or do this. Don't do it. Take a year off. Get your head where you want it to be. And then at that point, if you want to jump back in and start, doing other things, do that. But take a year. Take a year to really just de-stress and enjoy your retirement. That's the only advice that I can give you. But I truly hope that you enjoy your retirement. You're very well deserved. Thank you, sir.
Well, I'm looking forward to giving you some retirement advice, but I don't have any at this point. Dr. Ibarra, like I think Doug just mentioned, I think you've been such an important part of our community. And I remember, I came on this board at a very weird time. But when I decided to embark upon potentially serving on the board, you reached out to me and you talked to me about several different things about board leadership, about the district. You didn't have to do that, and I appreciated that. And I remember it was unique because you were in your car, because it was in the middle of COVID, and we were trying to be distanced. And so, and that was just one small gesture of thousands upon thousands that I know you have undertaken over your career here. And I enjoyed that we both served in similar communities, and I enjoyed that we had similar conversations and were able to talk about paths across of similar individuals, some positive and some perhaps not so much positive. But a well-deserved retirement. What a wonderful career. And I'm just grateful that I've been able to serve alongside you and watch you mentor your team and leave a legacy here in our community that will be lasting a very, very long time. And so I wish you all the best as you embark on this next chapter, and hope you and in all your endeavors have nothing but the best. Thank you for your service.
Okay, so I had to write something down so I wouldn't ramble on, and there was so much I wanted to include that I think I started this about 6 to 8 months ago in my notes. So anyway, here it goes. I wanted to take a moment and thank you and recognize someone whose impact on this district has both been immediate and lasting, Superintendent Dr. Luis Ibarra. From the very first day he stepped in his role, Luis didn't ease in, observe from a distance, or wait for the right moment to act. He jumped in, fully, decisively, and relentlessly. And he never stopped. He never blinked, even as the challenges came, fast, constant, and often unforgiving. Because the truth is, this job is not for the faint of heart. There are only a small handful of people who truly understands what it means to sit in that seat, to carry the weight of an entire district, to make decisions knowing they will be scrutinized from every angle, to move forward when every choice feels like it comes with risk, criticism, and second guessing. And while many may judge, critique, or discount the work from the outside, most do not and cannot fully understand what responsibility feels like. It brings to mind Theodore Roosevelt's words about the man in the arena. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, but who spends himself in a worthy cause. Luis, that is you. You stepped into the arena for our students. You stayed there throughout every challenge, every difficult decision, every moment that demanded more than anyone could reasonably expect. You carried that weight, not for recognition, nor for ease, but because you believed in this work and you believed in this community. And while no tenure is without its trials, literal trials, what cannot be questioned is your commitment to showing up, to pushing forward, and to serving our students with purpose and determination. So today, we don't just mark your retirement, we acknowledge your effort, your resilience, and your willingness to take on a role that very few truly understand. On behalf of myself and this community, thank you. Thank you for stepping into the arena. Thank you for never backing away from the challenges. And thank you, most importantly, for your service to our students and to all of us. We wish you nothing but relaxation and peace in your retirement. You do mean a lot to us, and you mean a lot to this district, and thank you. Yeah, do. I do have one. If Miss Leela Saxfield, if you want, we're kind of going out of order, so no one get mad at the agenda. But if you'd like to come up.
Good evening, everyone. I could not let this night go by without coming, and I truly do remember the very, very first time I was sitting up there and you were being introduced as the superintendent. And it was actually one of the most frightening nights of my life because I thought I was going to be fired. And I distinctly remember sitting there just shaking in my boots because it was a terrible time. And I remember you walked over to that very corner where that man is standing. You put your hands on my shoulders and you said, "It's going to be all right." And instantly, I felt relief. I remember the first time you were sitting in that chair, and I came up to welcome you to the district, and I talked about a specific tree, and I hope you remember this. It was a tree called the Mayflower Oak and the Engelmann Oak. And Francis Ryan, who is a very big part of the history of Escondido, taught all of us when I think I was in third grade when I learned. Do you remember learning that, Doug?
I remember something.
And she talked about this tree that was brought from the Mayflower and how it came to grow. And it's near Ryan Park. I think by the dog park is where it actually was. But the point of what I brought to you, I brought a basket with something of a reminder of every school in the district, and then also special places like Peterson's Donuts and Cocina del Charro and Felipe's, all the places that people need to know. And I talked about how that tree had roots that were so deep that hundreds of people were married under that tree. People went there to mourn their loved ones, to celebrate, and that as a finite number of people who get the absolute privilege of being in a seat like yours, you too were going to be like our oak, and those roots were going to run so deep, and that would be your legacy. And soon after, I went into your office, right away after you were made the soup, and there was a picture of a tree up there. And I thought to myself, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in divine intervention. And I know what you brought to my life, and I know what I tried to bring to yours. You will be my friend forever, because that's the way it works when you get into the family of Leela. And I just want to thank you. It's always so weird to have it happen in the summer, right? It feels so weird because it doesn't ever end here at the district office. It just keeps on going. But there's no real closure. And I remember what it felt like to walk past those lockers. So I hope tonight I get to walk past those lockers with you and give you one last hug, because I truly do love you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for that. And in true Dr. Ibarra fashion, if any of you know him, if you would like him to show up at your classroom or your school site or your office, just have food or snacks. And so we are going to take a recess, and we have cake to celebrate the retirement. So we will take about a 15-20 minute recess to enjoy it. Thank you.
John's over here talking. He's not even trying to get out of here.
All right. How's the cake?
Delicious.
Good. Very nice. Excellent. Okay. We are going to move on to public comments. I have two. Miss Seema, would you like to start?
All right, so hello everybody. For the last time, Dr. Ibarra, nice to see you. I would have liked to have seen you in your periwinkle though, because optics are everything. So anyways, I'm very sad to say goodbye. Good evening, President Harper, school board members, new superintendent, Mr. McGuire, and fellow cabinet. This is actually an item that's on the SELPA J2 consent item. Just something that came up as an optic, concern that one of the advisory members is taking a general education parent role while serving as a district administrator. This appears to be a conflict of interest to some that have read over the agenda, and the optics are not looking favorable. People are worried that this is a 3-year term and denies the public and outside opinion. So just something to think about in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Gwen Smith?
Good evening. Thank you, Cabinet and Board. I want to thank Dr. Ibarra for all you've done. Congratulations, and Superintendent McGuire. I'm addressing concerns about a vote that you have coming up tonight, and that is for approval for payment possible for a missed meeting. And this was something that was approved, a stipend that was approved, $1,000 a meeting, and the law states to attend all meetings. Mark Olson has been absent 2 times since the approval of increasing their stipends. And if you're voting to pay him for a meeting he didn't attend, $1,000 for not being there, like for instance, our union AAA is here and we're unpaid to be here because we care about the work. Paying someone that isn't doing the work raises some serious concerns about accountability, ethics, and the responsible use of public funds. The stipend was intended to compensate board members for performing their duties, and in this case, the member did not attend the meeting and did not perform the work associated with that meeting, correct? Paying a stipend anyway is paying for an obligation that was not fulfilled. While if due to an illness, it is unfortunate and deserving of compassion, compassion does not create entitlement to compensation for work not performed. The choice should be up to the person if he or she can attend and get paid. Most employees, taxpayers, and their families in this district would not expect to be paid for a meeting they did not attend. $1,000 a meeting, that is a lot of money. In good faith, why grab that money? It can pay for necessities in the general fund. So I ask, do the right thing. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And we've discussed this before. And I'm teaching summer school, and our second step lesson this week with our social emotional learning with our students asks, what is our guiding principles? And that's what we're teaching our kids. And we all need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We need to model those same principles. What makes this matter particularly troubling is that the fellow board members are being asked to approve payment to one of their own regardless of intent. This creates an appearance of self-interest. Public officials should be especially careful to avoid actions that appear to place personal financial benefit over accountability. The public expects board members to uphold the highest standards of stewardship over taxpayer dollars, and approving compensation for a missed meeting sends the opposite message. The question before the board is simple: should public money be paid for work that was not performed? If the answer is yes, then the board owes the public a clear explanation of why the board member deserves compensation without attendance or participation. If the answer is no, then this stipend should not be approved. The decision is more than the $1,000. It is really about integrity, accountability, and maintaining public trust. Once the public sees elective officials voting to pay one of their own for a meeting that was not attended, confidence in the board's judgment is understandably diminished. Taxpayers expect compensation to follow service, not absence. Paying a stipend for a meeting not attended is difficult to justify, difficult to defend, and damages public trust. So I do ask that you decline the proposal and go even further to state if someone is absent, they will not be paid. And if you attend, you get paid. Let's be fair and let's be transparent. You voted for this stipend after many concerns in public comments. We want to ask, where's the integrity? What is the priority? The money or attending the meetings to do the work and be present? What we're hearing is that pay yourself, we have the money for ourselves, and we don't have to do the work. So remember this in future meetings about the money. Please make a public resolution that you will honor the law attending all meetings since you voted yourselves the money to begin with. Hold yourself accountable. This isn't personal. This is about public service and integrity. No meeting, no work, no pay. And people are paying attention. Superintendent McGuire stated at the February 19th board meeting that we are focused on meeting our deficits and being more efficient with our money. So I ask, does missing a meeting and getting paid for the meeting meet the 3-point test? And I don't believe that it meets the 3-point test. And no meeting, no pay. Fiscal responsibility is not paying someone who is not doing the work. And I also wanted to say, in going over that 3-point test, I hope we can consider a 4th point because it is about the students. And so I would ask, does it benefit the students? If we could consider adding that, that would be great. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you so much. And just as a point to that, Mr. Olson is pulling that item. He is not requesting that. So that's an automatic thing. He's already pulling it. So he will not be paid for missing last week when he was sick. CSEA.
Hi, everyone. Well, I'm here. I'm Noemi. I'm the CSEA president. I always feel like I have to preface that so nobody sees me as just Noemi the librarian. So I'm the CSEA president for this moment. I do want to wish everyone a happy summer, and I hope everyone is able to take some time to enjoy our beautiful weather. We do pay that sun tax, so let's enjoy it. And I also want to say a huge thank you to our staff, all of our staff who work really hard over the summer to make it possible for the rest of us to have time off and walk into our school spaces and have them be ready for our students. So a huge thank you to everyone who is working super hard this summer, making sure that everything looks and feels ready for our students. So a big, huge thank you to them. I also heard some really sad news, so I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it freely. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. No. Okay, so I do want to say that Dr. Ibarra, we've said goodbye to you so many times now. I just told him that. I was all like, okay, Jess, just go. No, I'm just kidding. But we do appreciate you. We do appreciate everything you've done. To Andy, huge thank you for stepping into the role and for, taking our thoughts into consideration. We have appreciated meeting with you, and so we hope that continues into the new school year. To Mr. Oser, I want to thank you for the work that you've done with CSEA. In such a short period of time, you have given us a voice and given our staff, our classified staff, an opportunity to step into roles that they've never been given the opportunity to participate in. So a huge thank you for moving that forward, because it's been conversations, but you took those steps and you talked to the right people, and so we appreciate that. And Michelle, we don't say this enough, but we appreciate you so much. Just having a conversation with you early about CalPERS and the craziness that is. I really appreciate you including us in those conversations. We had a conversation earlier where she was like, oh, I forgot to include you. Don't worry. I know how busy you guys work. So I want to thank all of our cabinet members. I know Audrey's not here, but she and Bill work so hard to support classified staff. So I do want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you for everything that you do. The other thing that I want to discuss, I'm planting a seed, okay? Just planting a seed. This is a discussion about classified staff and the concerns that they've brought up about taking time off. And this comes in relation to substitutes. I know that this has been a discussion for many years, but I want to plant the seed with our school board so that they can further the discussion, right? Ask those questions. We have a lot of classified staff who don't take time off. They might not even go to the doctor, or they might be afraid to take time off because they don't want to upset, staff members, or the impact that it would have on their students or on their offices. So I just want to plant the seed of conversation about what can we do as a collaborative to ensure that the positions that directly affect students have coverage. It is just super important that our students always come first, and that the money that we are using and spending does not go to the benefit of those who, just like, we're not here about aesthetics, right? We're not here to make things look pretty. We're here to ensure that our students in the classrooms have the things that they need, that they have the furniture that they need, that they have the supplies that they need, right? So I just want to make sure, I think somebody touched base on that earlier, where it was like, the optics of, just making sure that we're prioritizing that, and that we're prioritizing the staff that directly affect our students. So just planting the seed, you can have the conversation. And Mr. Olson, I'm not picking on you, but I just want to remind you about the last time we had a conversation about a committee that was regarding iPads. So the people are asking, the people are wondering, when is this committee coming together? How do they sign up? So I just want to, again, continue growing that seed.
The committee we voted on last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not last week. It was
Yeah.
last month.
No,
Oh, did
Leslie.
you vote it out?
Yeah, we
Oh, did
voted it in,
you?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
So
at the start
please.
of the school year, we determined who the committee would be to start it.
Okay.
It's going to grow, and then by the beginning of the school year, once everyone's back from vacation, they'll have their first couple meetings right away and really hit the ground running. But there was also an explanation that we are no longer requiring any iPad use starting this new school year.
Ooh, you guys, thank
You
you.
miss
I
one
appreciate
meeting,
that.
you miss a
I
lot.
know. I can't miss meetings. You know, this is what happens. And then, you know, I have a crew that doesn't, you know, share information. I'm just kidding. That's why I told you I wasn't picking on you. I knew you guys were working in the background. So thank you for that. And again, enjoy your summer. I'll see you guys in July. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Noemi, just to clarify, during the discussion on the makeup of that committee, there was a statement, and part of the committee will be representatives from CSEA.
Thank you.
And AAA.
I never doubted it for a second that we would be involved. So thank you for that. I know it was the ranting that brought it all. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing that to our attention about taking time off, because again, it just goes to how dedicated classified staff is, that they're willing to make those sacrifices. And we don't want them to make some of those choices because of their dedication. So we'll be discussing it. So thank you. AAA? Put on a different hat.
Yes, so this is actually Brandy's words, not mine. Thank you. I got to take a lot of it away. I appreciate it. So, yes, back to optics. Yes, everybody sees everything, right? But not everybody understands everything. We couldn't see the video. You told me to watch the video it's not up yet. So just so you know, nobody has the agenda and, with the actual meeting minutes, and there's no video yet. The last one was May 21st, because I've been looking. I really want to know. All right, so this is from Brandy. She says she's sorry she can't be here this evening to speak, so she appreciates myself reading it. On her behalf, she's in Europe spending time with her family. All right, so I get to avoid a lot of this. All right, so she says, I assure you the claim of deficit spending will not be an excuse we fall for moving forward as we enter talks for a fair contract. Making projections 4 years out is not common, and claiming that everything is one times money has gotten old. Just to let you know, there is a new SB bill coming through, 330. You want to look into that. Yeah, so we might have to fight and continuously fight for fair compensation, but really going for projections out 4 years was really kind of overdoing it. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda, we are going to pull item H1. Does anyone else have any questions or things they want to pull for separate consideration on the consent agenda? Otherwise, I am looking for a motion.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Joan.
With the one deletion.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
Thank you, Frank. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Okay, on to Ed Services report on California School Dashboard Local Indicators.
It's local control accountability plan progress indicators. So you can see Kathleen coming to the podium. So annually, LEAs are required to review progress on the California School Dashboard local indicators in conjunction with the adoption of the LCAP. And so Kathleen Sorensen, our Director of Ed Services, will provide this update to the Governing Board.
Good evening, Board President Harper, board members, Superintendent Dr. Ibarra, and incoming Superintendent Mr. McGuire. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to talk to you about the California School Dashboard Local Indicators. Each year, the California Department of Education reports out our 8 state priorities on the California School Dashboard. Results aligned to assessments, absenteeism, and suspensions, which are priorities 3, 4, and 5, are reported out by the CDE. The remaining priorities, 1, 2, 6, and 7, are reported out by LEAs based on a self-reflection tool. The local results will be published with the regular 2026 dashboard in October. Tonight, I'm going to be sharing the priorities with you as part of a statutory requirement to present the local indicators at the same meeting that the LCAP is presented for adoption. So this is the same thing we do every year. I'm sure it seems very familiar. So I'm going to start with priority 1. There it goes. And priority 1 has several things in it. It has appropriately assigned teachers, access to curriculum assigned instructional materials, and safe and clean and functional school facilities. So I'm going to start off with the appropriately assigned teachers. The state has several definitions of teachers. First of all, we have our total teaching full-time equivalents, which was 823. So these numbers are taken from 2024-25. So they ask us to report the 24-25 school year for the teachers, but everything else is this past school year. So in 24-25, we had 823 teachers. Of those teachers, 12 were out of field. An out of field is a teacher who has not yet demonstrated competence in the subject area they are teaching. So in the 24-25 school year, all but one of the teachers that the state would consider out of field were teachers who were on the local assignment option. They were elective teachers and teaching a wide range of courses, and the local assignment committee determined, or the committee on assignment determined, that those teachers had the skills that would be necessary to teach those classes. And one teacher was on an emergency credential for CLAD. Then we had 21 interns. Our interns are typically special ed teachers who are working in progress, working on their credentials. And finally, this is the term that most people dislike, is ineffective. So an ineffective teacher is an individual whose assignment is authorized by an emergency permit. So typically that person has a degree, but is working on what they need to do to complete a credential. So in the 24-25 school year, we had 4 teachers that fell under that category. And they were all working on qualifying for an internship program. So just to give you a little perspective, a little comparison of what our data look like compared to the state. We had 1.45% of our teachers out of field. The state was 4.3%. We had 2.6% of our teachers were interns. Statewide, 2.2 were. And we had 0.49 teachers who were considered ineffective, but statewide there were 6%. Wow. So we're doing very well. And our human resources department is extremely diligent about ensuring that teachers have the correct credentials. So finally, or next, we have access to instructional materials. Our Williams visit last year reported out that all students had access to instructional materials, just as they have ever since I can remember. I don't know that we've ever had an issue. And all of our facilities have been inspected using the facilities inspection tool by an outside entity and are all considered to be in good condition. So that's a shout out to our maintenance and facilities, who is pretty diligent about making sure that everything's in good shape. So the next priority is priority 2, the implementation of state academic standards. And here you can see that in the area of professional learning for teaching academic standards and framework, we're in full implementation, and Ed Services is really proud of all of our enhanced opportunities for professional development. This past year we have added to our Empower Ed. Next year we're having Empower Ed as well as K2 Literacy Institute. as well as a number of initiatives with the County Office of Ed, as well as our own staff that has continued to provide additional professional development based on what we consider teacher need and what we've heard feedback from teachers. We have fully implemented or ensured that standards-based instructional materials are available to all students. We're in full implementation of implementing programs to help staff identify areas of improvement. They have, in elementary, they have their wheel time where they have their PLCs and have the opportunity to look at data, think about what's going well, what isn't going well, and what areas they would like to work on. We're in full implementation of health, PE, VAPA, and world languages. We only have world languages at one school this year, but Rincon is adding world languages, which is Spanish, and Bear Valley had Spanish for years. In terms of being of identifying PD needs for all teachers and individual teachers, as well as supporting teachers on standards they have not mastered, we've determined we're at full implementation. Okay, then on to parent engagement. In terms of building relationships between school staff and families, we're at full implementation. Building partnerships for student outcomes, we're in initial implementation, working really hard on getting, working with community schools and family liaisons and school staff to build that. Then in terms of seeking input for decision making, we're at full implementation. Then finally, on to our school climate. Priority 6 is school climate, and like most districts in the state, EUSD gives the California Healthy Kids Survey to measure school climate. The California Healthy Kids Survey, also known as CHICS, is an anonymous assessment given to our 5th and 7th grade students whose parents have provided consent through the new and returning enrollment process. It's focused on student connectedness, school climate, school safety, and student supports. And this is, you can see this is our elementary 5th grade results, which actually just came in a few weeks ago. And it is showing data all the way back to 2016. And you can see that we continue to get closer to our pre-COVID results. We're up to 77% of our 5th graders who responded, who said that they feel safe at school most of the time. And you might notice that our numbers of students who took the survey this year are quite a bit higher. We sent out a daily report to all of the principals showing their completion rate so that they were able to really stay on top of it. Then on to middle school. You can see that we also are continuing to grow in middle school. Our 7th graders who responded that they feel safe at school most of the time, the rate increased 1% and is now at 61%. Then the next area is the percentage of students who responded that they feel connected to school. So this is our 5th graders again, and here we had a little bit of a dip. We went from 70% of students who responded that they felt connected down to 69%, so just a tiny dip. But if you move on to middle school, we had a 2% increase. We went from 53% to 55%. Then finally, priority 7 is ensuring that all students have access to a broad course of study. So it's our job to ensure that every student is enrolled in a reading ELA class, a math class, social studies, science, and PE class. And we also have opportunities for all of our middle school students to take at least one choice-based elective and they have an incredible range of electives to choose from. Our elementary students are also all enrolled in all of those core classes and have the benefit of a wheel and for 4th and 5th grade instrumental music. So we do audit our master schedules every year to make sure that every student is indeed enrolled in those core subject areas. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? All right, thank you again, Kathleen, appreciate it. All right, Frank, I need some motions from you. Here. Here it is. There you go. There you go.
I just want to make sure I do it in the correct order that they have on here. We're doing on 16, they're doing 7. Okay, reference the educational services actions on student stipulated expulsion case number 2025-26-06. Recommend the full expulsion as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joan. Doug, how do you vote?
Aye.
Joan?
Aye.
Frank?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Passes 5-0.
And reference educational services action on student stipulated immediate suspended expulsions, case number 2025-2607. Recommend suspended expulsion as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Doug, how do you vote?
Nay.
Joan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Frank, how do you vote?
Nay.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Passes 3-2. Thank you very much. On to Ed Services, 2025-26 Comprehensive Safe School Plans Addendum. We'll get it out eventually.
Board President Harper. This next item focuses on the review and approval of the Comprehensive Safe Schools Plans. California Education Code requires every public school to develop and maintain a comprehensive safe school plan designed to address campus risk, prepare for emergencies, and create a safe, secure learning environment for students and school personnel. So the board approved the plans in January. However, there was an additional requirement that needed to be covered, specifically an addendum related to sexual abuse, which required an addendum that needed to be approved by the board by July 1st. And this specifically pertains to boundaries between staff and students. So presented here are the safe school plans with this additional addendum. And we do have our wonderful ISS coordinator, Eric Solorzano, in the audience if there's any questions.
Excellent. Any question? No, thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Thank you, Doug. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Frank. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Passes 5-0. On to Business Services, 2026-27 adopted budget.
We've got the LCAP to do first. I think we're out of order.
I think it's okay.
The diligent has issues.
Yeah. I think we're okay.
On the screen, it's 5 and then it did out of order because it shows 4 second. Is that the issue?
I think it was, Diligent was making the error.
Do you want to
Yeah.
take action on 5 or 4 first?
5, please.
Okay.
It's having issues.
All right, so this will be my last time presenting a business services item. In my last meeting as the business services assistant superintendent. So this is as presented at the last board meeting, our adopted budget for the 26-27 year, now for vote for adoption as presented last week.
Excellent. Any other questions on that, or do we need to listen to the presentation one more time?
Are you prepared?
One more time?
I would like to hear the presentation one
I
further
would like to.
time. I understand that may get some of us on the road a little late, but whether, am I moving approval?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
I'm moving
Please.
approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mark. All those in favor? please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0. Now on to Ed Services, 2025-26 LCAP adoption.
Board President Harper, we're pleased to present this next agenda item that focuses on LCAP adoption. The LCAP approval process requires 2 separate board meetings. At last week's board meeting, the team presented the LCAP. Presented to the board in this meeting's agenda is the LCAP as an action item for the board's approval.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Do I have a motion or any questions before motion? Okay.
Move approval of the LCAP as presented.
Thank you, Joan. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Frank. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. On to Superintendent's Office, Board Policies, first reading.
Let me take this one for you.
Of course.
All right, so these board policies before you are related to weather safety. In fact, a couple of years ago, there was unfortunately in a school district north of here, a student did pass away under heat illness during their PE class. And since then, the state's been working on legislation, and so this board policy now brings in the new laws around weather safety, including training provided in order to identify heat-related illness, things like that, but also other extreme weather conditions are included in it as well. Things, having plans around what to do in the case of floods or excessive precipitation, anything that could potentially pose a significant harm to students in a new Ed Code 3355. And so in the accompanying R that we've shared before, just having a layout of a process now as far as training and whatnot that we provide in our staff, which we already do much of. We would just be going back and ensuring that we're hitting all the right marks according to this new board policy. Also included in this item are board policies related to our facilities master plan. Just adding, it's another one where they've just added a couple extra words that don't really change much of the meaning, but they're nonetheless, most importantly, our plans for design and construction of facilities, furnishing of facilities shall promote safe environments for learning and engagement. Of course, that's something that we already do and are held accountable for by the Division of State Architects, California, and I would say that our schools, and I speak only about our schools, I can represent those, not everybody else, but our schools are the safest buildings in the city for our students because of the great work of our facilities department and the contractors that they are able to hire. So that, and then another one just about safety in essentially in order to minimize the harm to students, we wanted to look at the safe use of technology and also holding our students accountable to the rules of the school in order to provide a safe learning environment and working environment for everybody at our schools. So those are the board policies that are up for first read tonight.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions on it? And I would prefer to pass it as one motion for all 3 of them, please. Do we have a
You can
motion?
make that motion.
Perfect. Thank you, Joan.
And
Do
I'll second.
Oh, okay. Yes, I will make the motion. And all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Passes 5-0. All right. Thank you so much. On to board members' report. Doug, can you get us started, please?
Well, since last week, I've been very busy with board business. On Saturday, I was able to attend the community wellness event at the YMCA.
Family Palooza.
The Family Palooza, and it was a Family Palooza, just a lot of vendors, and so happy that that facility is reopened and is serving the public again, which is great news. On Monday, I met with Mr. McGuire, and we discussed a few district things, and then attended a meeting, a committee meeting maybe, with neighborhood healthcare and other partners that serve the aging community. Just doing some brainstorming about how different agencies can work together to help get our senior citizens back out with purposeful work, potentially, possibly, with involving some of our students and the facilities at the YMCA. So that was very good. Very happy to see students back in activities at our schools, and I'm looking forward to getting out at some point in the next few weeks to see some of those programs.
I have no report as such. I'd like to wish everyone a happy summer, and looking forward to welcome back in August, the barbecue. And
There's food. Louise might show up to it.
yes, you're always welcome back, Louise.
Thank you, Joan. Frank?
I also have no report.
It's only been a week.
But I did
It's a
want to,
fast
just
turnaround.
last thing is, congratulations again. So you will be missed. So, thank you.
Mark?
It'll be brief because, you know, I've already said things, and again, congratulations, Dr. Barra. Just want to commend all the staff and especially all those as we head into summer, all the programs that the employees put on for the kids and for the families. They're so essential. Completely, my heart goes out to those who go through those. They're completely essential to the family members and to the community. So I thank you so much for putting the effort into providing those services. You have no idea how much it means to the families, and so I'm just grateful that we as a district lead and provide those services that the families can take advantage of. They're so essential in development, and so I'm just grateful that we lead the way and pick up where others can't. And so just grateful for those, and just wish everybody a happy summer.
Thank you, Mark. I attended the YMCA Family Palooza as well. I was actually at the Kiwanis booth for some of the time. I didn't see a Rotary booth though, but there was 40 community, sorry.
We were busy engaging with the families that were there.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. I must have missed it. So there was 40 community groups there. They also received a $1.2 million check for more improvements at the Y, so our students will have from the state.
Oh, it's taxpayer money.
Yeah. But they had a big check for it, so. But it'll go to improve like the soccer field and I think the playground and the basketball gym as well.
Yes, the gym, the playground that's outside of that, and just kind of other areas around that facility. And that was spearheaded by Dr. Darshana Patel.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Her office organized the whole event, and it was very nice. I did have a comment. I was hoping, I think next time we have any of these types of events, I think our community schools should be present and either have a booth of what we, connecting them, but also talking to these community groups as well, because there was a lot of resources there, which I think we probably already know most of them, but it would never hurt to have more people there and make more connections. Again, might bring up something. I mean, even the is it the Power Alliance? What's that called? CSA or I don't know. Anyway, but there was a lot of community events, people there that it would be good to make those connections for our families. And then this week, Joan, you're going to love this. I went to Orange Glen High School to their summer math program. They have 2 summer math programs going on. They have a math academy, which is our outgoing 8th graders going into high school. There's about 70 of them this year, which apparently is the largest group they've had, and it's helping try to get them caught up to grade level for math. They had about 3 classrooms for it, and I was asking, how do you get the students to show up? Because if they're already behind, they don't want to show up for 4 hours a day of math. They get to go to Disneyland. If they have perfect attendance at the end of the time, they get to go to Disneyland.
Absolutely perfect attendance?
I think they can miss one day, but even one day was a lot. So they're pushing for perfect attendance.
So better to remediate in high school than to wait until college.
Oh,
university.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's disgraceful what you hear that students simply aren't prepared in math. Yeah.
Well, and then you'll love to hear this. So then the other side of it is they have an accelerated math program where they have a classroom full of students who are trying to get through Math 1 in 4 weeks. So they're 8 hours a day. They're trying to get Math 1 in 4 weeks so then they can go right into Math 2, which if they do that, then they can do up to 2 AP math classes in their 11th and 12th grade.
What I'd be interested in, and I had talked about this earlier, I wish we were on a more traditional math track as it used to be, and there was a choice that the high school district
yes.
made, and we were kind of brought along with that. But I always wanted to know how many kids now are taking the calculus senior year, and how many kids are passing. And I had been promised, we're gonna have many more succeeding.
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be something to ask the next time you run into the high school district leadership.
Well, and also at that same time, there was a cross-articulation meeting with our middle school teachers and TOSA, and their high school teachers and their math TOSA. So they were working, Sherry Moore was there as well. They were all working together to try to work on that collaboration of, how the middle school works and how it's gonna flow into the high school and their math setup as well. So it was great. They were all working hard. And then the one feedback I did get from the high school's math TOSA is that when she works with our teachers, the two things that she keeps hearing from them is they want more PD time, and then they want longer math periods. They said the math periods aren't, I think they're 44 minutes. 44 minutes is not enough time to really get the concepts through. So those were her two refrains. But it was really great to see us working with the high school district and the program they have. Yes,
Thank you.
Exactly. But that's all I got in a week.
I just want, can I say one more thing? When
Yeah.
you were talking about the why and
Mhm.
the family palooza, I hope that the school district, and I attribute this to Dr. Ibarra as well, his leadership, because without the contribution and the encouragement from the school district, that why would still be closed down.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't
100%.
I think people forget that now. Everyone's pounding their chest and taking credit for what they're doing now.
Right.
But again, it was the leadership from this district, and specifically Dr. Ibarra and also Andy McGuire, who our CBO, who figured out who spearheaded it, yes.
Absolutely.
So
And you
thank you again for that, and it's a part of your legacy as well.
And you reminded me that we did have a booth there. EUSD and the extended learning team were there, giving out stickers and had activities, and we're engaging with families as well. So I apologize for missing that. Cabinet, does Cabinet have anything? No? Okay.
So do want to make a shout out to all of the students, certificated, classified, and administrative staff who are very busy working and engaging right now in our summer programs. Between our special education ESY as well as our general education summer program, we have about 1,800 students who are on our campuses right now. Most of them are engaged in a 9-hour day. So I want to make a huge shout out not only to all of the teachers and staff and administrators who are doing this, but also to the amazing special education team, as well as the Explore team, who have worked months to put this off. And so, big shout out to all of them.
Thank you. Mr. McGuire?
All right. Oh, okay. It's time for me to go because this just fell apart. No, I just want to thank the board because Doug asked me earlier what I was most proud of. And really, when I look at the board over the years, and I think we added it up, I've worked with 12 board members. I can honestly say I'm really proud of the work that the board is doing, of being very civil to one another, being able to disagree, not always agreeing, but doing it in a very respectful manner. It's a very high-functioning board, and really proud to have been part of that. So thank you. Keep up the great work, because when the board is dysfunctional, it affects the entire organization. And I just want to leave that as kind of the words, like don't mess it up. Because it's big, and I've lived through it. Leela and I both lived through it. It's a big distraction, and you can see evidence of other boards that are going through other issues. And I remember I've said this from the very beginning: when you focus it on kids, we can always agree on what to do. It's best for kids. What's the right thing to do? So, thank you for the board, and wanted to thank the cabinet. Thank you to our administrators and the teachers, the classified staff. It's been an amazing privilege to work with such dedicated individuals. It is really a pleasure. And if I look like I'm really ecstatic and not sad, it's not because I can't wait to get out. I feel really privileged to have had this year to really have the long goodbye, but allowed me to really enjoy this final year, focus on all the wonderful things that we've built together. And I'm leaving with no regrets. Nothing's left unsaid. And I can honestly say I'm leaving with a full heart and so honored to have worked with all of you. And I have no doubt that under Andy McGuire, you guys are going to continue to meet. So, Andy,
Don't screw it up.
don't mess it up. No, Andy, I hand the reins.
That's not what you always say.
Yeah, I hand the reins over to you. Take care of everyone, please.
I thought I would start crying halfway through this, but you got me there already. I know you've been through a lot of things, Leela, for years before I was here, others, and we've been through things together too over the 5 years that I've known you, and I know that I was proud to be able to stand with you, I think, but most importantly in your legacy is you stood with me, you stood with us, with all of us, for your 12 years here, and I hope that, I know that, I carry that on with me to walk with others as well, and to be the best Luis that I can be in that regard going forward. And I share the sentiment that everybody has shared about you tonight. But I know, and it is a weight, and over this year to be able to gradually take on that weight as you gradually have given it to me. And I proudly carry that weight. But I think at this point, I fully take that weight proudly from you and release you to go enjoy your life now. And thank you for your service to this city, to all of the kids, to all of the staff, to the entire community here. You are one of my very best friends now. And I look forward to talking to you and enjoying hearing about you not doing this. All the restaurants you go to and the fun that you get to have now. And know that we're going to be okay. I'm going to get up and make you get up, and I'm going to hug you now.
Okay.
All right, we have our next meeting on Thursday, July 16th, 2026 at 7 p.m. right here. We do not need to return to closed session. So for the final time, I'm going to let Dr. Ibarra adjourn this meeting. Oh.
Okay. Well, after 288
Oh.
board meetings, we are adjourned.
Woo!